At the moment, we're in the middle of summer. It's the end of July. We've got a lovely hot blue day, and I brought my houseplants outside to talk about. At the moment, in my garden, loads and loads of colour. But come the winter time, come the autumn time, there isn't so much colour outside, is there? And that's a great time for houseplants. That's when they come into their own to give you joy and lift your mood in those dark months of the year when not much is happening outside in the garden. And kicking off with one of my favourites is Anthurium. This is such an amazing plant. These flowers almost look plastic. This one's in a lovely pinky colour, also known as flamingo flower. And it's a strange shaped flower. It has what's known as a spathe and a spadix. This bit at the base here, this is the spathe and this is the spadix. And the flowers on this, I'm not exaggerating, they last about 2 to 3 months. These come in red, they come in white, they come in a range of colours, and they originate from places like Colombia and Ecuador. They're a member of the arum family, and what they like indoors is they like quite a lot of light, but not really burning direct sunshine. They like to be warm, they like to be moist, and that's where they'll be really, really happy. This one I actually rescued out of a bin. Somebody binned this, and I saw it in a bin looking really, really sad. I potted it up about a couple of years ago, and I've kept it somewhere it just gets a little bit of sun first thing in the morning, but the rest of the day it's got bright light but not being scorched by the sun. I keep it moist, I keep it warm, and it's flowered for month after month after month. There's 2 main flowers on here already, loads of flowers coming down from the base, these wonderful shaped leaves. So Anthurium is definitely a house plant worth giving a go. Zamioculcas, that's what this one is. Funny old name, but a stunning plant. This one starts off with green leaves and eventually they turn almost black, but you can get some that actually stay green as well. This is a plant that's really great for shade or low light levels, not dark, but just low light levels. It originates from East Africa. It's incredibly drought tolerant, and it's a member of the arum family. It's a real stunner of a house plant. These great big fat stems that come up with these lovely glossy leaves either side. It's just got a really unusual shape. I've just found it so easy to grow. I've got this one in my hallway. I've got 2 green ones that I've had for probably the last 5 or 6 years, and I just water them very occasionally. In the winter time, almost not at all. Otherwise they tend to rot off if they're too wet. But if you want to try something different, something unusual, a talking plant, if you like, of a house plant, Zamioculcas are definitely one that I would try, and I'm sure you're going to love it too. Dracaena marginata. This brings drama, or Madagascan dragon tree. In their native Madagascar, these can grow to 20 feet tall. They can actually be quite invasive, but at home in the UK, in our living rooms, they won't get that tall. They start off at ground level with leaves, but as the years go by, the lower leaves turn yellow and gradually fall away and give this almost like palm tree kind of look. I actually bought this one only about 2 or 3 inches tall. It was a tiny, tiny little plant. I bought it at a till in a supermarket, potted it on. It's probably about 3 or 4 years old now, and it's just grown these lovely, lovely tall stems, multi-branched. As I say, the leaves drop off at the bottom occasionally, and then new leaves keep coming from the top. And it's got this lovely red margins, these lovely red margins on the edge of the leaves, hence marginata. So you get that lovely coloration on the edge of the leaves there. Great big spiky upright leaves. A great plant for full sun, a great plant for direct light. This is right in the front of my window. Gets loads and loads of sun at the beginning of the day, not so much in the afternoon, but it will take lots and lots of light. If you put it in a shadier position, it tends to get a bit leggy, a bit sad looking. So give it lots of light, lots of direct light. Keep it moist, but let it dry out between watering. Don't overwater it, otherwise it will rot off. And like all house plants in the winter time, really hugely reduce the watering and just barely keep moist. But Dracaena marginata, it's stunning, it's different, it's unusual, it's easy to grow, it's great for an office, it's great for the home, it's great for growing practically anywhere if it's got full light and you just look after it, as I mentioned. Lovely, lovely house plant. Clusia rosea, or autograph plant. Why autograph plant, I hear you say? Where this grows in the wild, in its normal position, is the Caribbean, and there the leaves can get really huge and leathery. You can actually carve your name into the leaves without actually destroying the leaf or killing the plant, hence autograph plant. I wouldn't do that myself. I wouldn't want to actually spoil the look of this stunning plant. It's too beautiful. In the Caribbean, it can get to about 20 foot tall. And like the Dracaena, it can also become quite invasive. But in your living room at home, it's never going to get that tall. It's just going to behave itself. If you're really, really, really lucky, you may eventually get pink or white blooms. Very unlikely in the UK, but it might happen. I found it very easy to grow. I let it dry out between waterings. I've got it in full sun. I let it dry out in the wintertime, give it very little water in the wintertime so it doesn't rot off. And again, this started out as a plant no bigger than the actual top part of this whole stem. And that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's gradually grown wider and wider and wider. And it's almost got like a Christmas tree shape to it. I absolutely love it though. These big, sort of leathery, thick leaves. Evergreen, looks great all the year through. A really happy, cheerful plant. It reminds me of the Caribbean or somewhere tropical because it's got that look to it. So Clusia rosea or autograph plant. Try it. It's easy, it's simple, it's stunning, and it will always look great in your living room or wherever you want to grow it. I'm back indoors now with the rest of my house plants. I was just taking the other ones outside so you could see them really, really nice and clearly. This one is Tenanthe ambergris. I used to call it prayer plant, but names change. This originates from Brazil. Likes a warm, well-lit position, but definitely not full sun. Direct sun would really, really upset this plant. But isn't this an absolutely beautiful, beguiling houseplant? First of all, you've got these wonderful leaves with these great marcations on the leaves. But you turn it around, turn the leaf upside down, and look, underneath the leaves are this pinky purple, almost beetroot colour underneath, which is absolutely fascinating. I like the way it kind of hugs the edge of the pot. It's a sort of a nice low growing pot. You can just imagine this in a tropical forest in Brazil where it's all steamy and hot, and this is sort of all covered in moisture and just thriving and growing away on the forest floor where it never gets too much direct sunlight. He also has this habit where at night time the leaves fold up, they just curl up and form a little funnel. And this is known as nyctinisty. It's a process called nyctinisty, and it's just a way the plant has of protecting itself at night from predators that might munch on the foliage. So try this one. I've got it in my living room towards the back of all the other house plants, so it gets kind of shaded by the other house plants and doesn't get direct sun. I keep it moist. I just let it dry out between watering. But again, I bought it from a tiny little plant and it's just grown and grown and grown. I mean, there's probably hundreds of leaves on there at the moment, more and more little leaves coming from the middle. And it's just a really interesting, happy, cheerful little plant. As I say, as its leaves roll up at night, they spring open again during the day, and it will just give you joy and happiness for year after year after year. So there you go, 6 amazing houseplants, all got different habits, different types of leaves, different colour of leaves, some flower. They all come from different parts of the world. And although there's lots flowering outside in the garden at the moment, it's July after all, come the winter time when everything else outside has died off, that's when you're going to really appreciate your houseplants. That's when they're going to come, that's when they're going to come into their own and give you joy, give you happiness, get you through those dark times. So just follow the simple instructions, just do those simple things that they need to keep them going, and all these houseplants will just give you joy year after year after year.